So today I have decided to start my peppers. It is March 1st. It is beautiful outside, and it kind of spurred me on to go and actually do some gardening because I'm kind of behind based on whatever guidelines are online, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get a productive garden. So I'm going to show you guys what I have decided to grow pepper-wise, and eggplants. I'm going to plant some eggplants too. Because in my experience, they both take a little bit longer to grow to a big enough size that I feel comfortable with transplanting them outside. So today, since I ran out of potting soil of any kind, I just picked up these Jiffy little pod things. They're actually really cool. I'll show you what they look like before. Yep. This is what the little bag looks like. So use what you can. I'm not going to judge you if you go the quick and easy route, because look at me, I'm doing it too. So as far as eggplant goes, I'm just going to plant one variety, and it's going to be this container variety from Renee's Garden Seeds. I have quite a few pots that are just begging to be filled, so I thought this one would be fun. And then a lot of, actually all of my peppers look to be from seed swaps. So we've got a Korbachi pepper, and I should note that I am not a pepper lover by any means. I do not like peppers, sweet or spicy. So these are all to grow for other people. So we got Korbachi pepper, some mixed bell peppers from my friend Lindy, a bell pepper of some type. You can see the name right there. A sweet Italian pepper, and then a habanada pepper, which I'm like 90% sure this is a sweet pepper because the name indicates that there is nada, no heat. So correct me if I'm wrong with that one. I'm not a pepper person. That is what I'm going to be planting here. So let me put this down and I'll show you. Let me set up this tripod here. You can kind of see my sowing process. Pardon the angle. Right down here. I think it's gonna fall. Hold on. Let's try that again. Okay, so I am sitting here in the basement, and this is where I have my seed starting set up. It's right in front of me. You can probably see the glow coming off of it. So here I'm going to kind of count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. We've got 16 trays in here. I'm just going to go through these varieties and see how many of each I want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of peppers and 1 type of eggplant. I think I'm just going to do 2 eggplant plants because we're not huge on eggplants yet, but that could change. We'll see if we love this one. Okay, before I even begin to open these up and start planting, I'm going to be labeling my little containers. Very important, very easy to forget this step, trust me. So I just reuse whatever I have. So look at, here's a daisy tag. Look at, the back is perfectly usable. I've got a bunch of tags that I've been reusing over the years. I find that pencil is the best tool to use. It doesn't wash off like permanent marker ironically does in the rain, and then I can just erase it year after year. So you can find these on Amazon. I can link them, and they are tall plant markers, but I cut them in half and I got twice as many out of them. So yeah, that one's a little dirty. So I'm going to label and see how many of each I want to allocate in this little tray, and that will be the first step. So like I said, these just erase from the last year, just using a pencil. Pretty cool. So I'll write container eggplant, and then when I do trays with multiples of the same variety, What I like to do is just label how many of these little pods are planted with this variety, and I'll just stick this in the row so I know, like, okay, the first 3 or whatever are this variety. That way I don't have to stick a label for each one, if that makes sense. And then if and when I need to repot these, I'll make them their own labels. But for now, this is a good way to save. And then, if you see, I'll just pull this back a bit and stick it right in there. Oops, I forgot to write 2. Okay. So I've already soaked these little pods. You see they have this little indent in them already, which is where I'm going to be placing the seed, and then lightly covering it up with some of the soil that's in here. Really kind of foolproof method. So let's open these babies. Oops, that is way more seed than I need. These seeds are, how old are these? These are 3 years old. So I am not one to stand by, like, you know, you have to buy new seed every year. I think if you store them right, and honestly, sometimes if you don't store them right, you can use quote-unquote old seeds. So I'm going to be planting, I think, 3 of these seeds in each of these pods, just as kind of an insurance policy, since the seed is a little bit older. That way maybe at least one of them will come up. So, put 1, 2, 3, and hey, if they all come up, that's great. And I can just snip them out with scissors if I find more than one sprout germinating. Okay, and then I'll lightly cover that up. Okay, we'll move on to the peppers. There, okay. Excuse the mess. We live here. Pepper. Let's do, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put this up here so you can see. 14 spaces left. So at least 2 of each. Which ones do I want more of? Probably more of the mixed bell peppers, because those are, I think, just an easy sell. Not sell, because I'm not going to sell any of this stuff, but people will recognize it and not shy away if I go and give this away to somebody. So I think I'll plant the extras with the bell peppers. So let's do that, same way as the eggplant. See? I love this method. It's so reusable and cheap. Peppers. Oh, what did I say? 2 and 4. So 6 of these. That's right. So I'll write 6, which will be good if I do right here. Okay. So we've got these 2 are eggplant. These will be the bell peppers. Okay. And I think this is leaking. Oh well, it's just water. So kind of the same thing with the bell peppers as I did with the eggplants. Since these seeds are a few years old, I will be putting multiple seeds in one cell, just in case the germination rate is a little bit lower than I would expect. Pepper seeds right there. So I think I'll start with 2 in each. With these peat pods, these expandable ones, they're great, but I do like to rip open the top a little bit when it has that kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, this like mesh stuff that keeps it all together. Rip it open on top a little bit so that when they do sprout, they're not competing for that tiny little space. Still not used to this whole YouTube thing, because right now I just feel like I'm talking to myself, and that's not normal, so bear with my awkwardness. Okay, but I know I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff of my favorite gardeners too, so hopefully this is useful or at least fun for you guys to plant along with me. Let's tuck these little guys in. Get in there. Okay, next ones, we're only doing 2 of each that are left, so I'm going to label Quadrado d'Asti Rosso. I don't know how to say that, but that's the next one. And I'm gonna, oh, it already has a 2 on here, so I've used this method for a few years now, and it hasn't failed me. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know this about me, but I think the best way that you can be successful in the garden is to prepare and organize before you even start, before you start planting or anything. So we will put this little guy here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. It's really the only spot that I found that the tripod doesn't drop my camera, so. And you get to see this lovely background of all of my crap, so that's cool. Okay, so these 2 will be this seed in this little baggie. And again, all these are from seed swaps, but I know that 90% of them are, they've been sitting in my, my seed boxes for quite a while, so I'm going to be planting multiples of each one. This one I just used up, so there are 5 seeds in here, and one of them will just have 3. No big deal. We are not aiming for perfection, we're just looking to find a method that works for us and nothing more. Okay, squish them down in there. Very technical term. Cover them a little bit. Okay, next one. We will do the sweet Italian pepper. And I needed a label, I almost forgot. It's kind of fun looking at these labels that I haven't erased yet from last year to see what I grew. So what was this one called? Totali's Sweet Italian Pepper. This one will go right here. Stick it in there. Open these up a little bit. And 2 seeds per pod. So I have been getting a lot of outside time today, and it's just kind of awoken the gardener in me. Winters can be pretty tough. I know I suffer from seasonal depression, just like many folks do. But I can honestly say that this year has not been as bad as years in the past. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are living with family and closer and where we want to be, which is great. I also have some other tips that I've been meaning to share with you guys that I implemented too. But today is just such a beautiful spring day, like a pre-spring day. So next one, habanada. Make sure we label it. This one will go back here. I know for sure I have not grown this many peppers before, ever. So let me know if you're growing some of these varieties too, or if you have in the past. Tell me if you've loved them or hated them. Oh, these seeds are kind of cool. They look like little, like pork rinds, for lack of better words. They're cute. They're really bright orange. 3 little pork rinds per hole. You may quote me on that. Now the last variety is the Korbachi Pepper. These, I'm going to do 2 in each, but again, I almost forgot to label first. This one says Kajari melon, which I'm definitely going to be growing again. I've heard that melons do quite well here, depending on the variety, of course, just like anywhere. But I'm excited to try more varieties than I have in Colorado, because we're in a warmer zone. Longer growing season, I kind of have more wiggle room with my experimentation. Okay, I also want to make sure that these are far enough in that the dome can fit snugly on top, which looks like they are. This is not an exact science, it's just what I've done in the past and what has worked. So there we have it. I have 16 peppers slash eggplants in here. I should say 14 peppers, 2 eggplants planted. So I'm going to put this on a heat mat and cross my fingers that they all germinate. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's the heat mat that I have. It works great. I also use it for making sourdough. I've used it for chick raising recently. I've also used it actually for my back too when I couldn't find my my warm pack. So very multifunctional. It actually also came with like a probe that you can put in the soil in here and keep tabs on how hot it actually gets. But I'm not that technical at this moment. It works just plugged in as is. So I will keep it under here and keep an eye on any germination or anything happening in the soil. For me, typically, peppers seem to take like 5 to 7 days to germinate. Don't quote me on that. Everybody's experience will be different, but that is what I have experienced in the past. Now, some of them have germinated in like a couple of days, which is crazy fast, and some have taken like weeks. So it really just depends on the conditions and the conditions that your seeds were kept in. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, and right now it doesn't need any light. Right here is just reflecting from the light up here from my loofahs. So this light isn't on right now, so I don't need to turn it on until I see germination happening. So that will be another video in itself, but right now I think we are about done. Thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate your support on Instagram and on this channel. It means a lot. So I'm glad I'm not the only person who loves gardening. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching.